Assalamu alaikum, I am Waz Zahir and welcome again to another episode of Blitz Talks. Today we will be talking about the recent skirmishes between US and Iran. So imagine waking up to the news that an important shipping route of the world is once again under fire. Over the last few days, the ships transiting through Strait of Hormuz have been under fire and it has sent shocks across the world in those of energy, and there's another fear of rising crises in the Middle East. So why this narrow stretch of water very important? We already know that 1/5 of the world's oil passes through this narrow stretch of water. So if there's a blockade in this narrow stretch of water, then it could culminate into fuel price increases again, shipping cost increase, and economies will face consequences all over the world. One more not talked about fact about Strait of Hormuz is that 33 to 34% of the fertilizer passes through Strait of Hormuz. So if there is a complete blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, we could also see that the fertilizer prices throughout the world can also increase, which could result in the in the food insecurity throughout the world as well. So what do we know about these strikes between US and Iran? The US has bombed Iran for consecutively second night in a row, with CENTCOM saying that strikes were ordered by Trump to further degrade to Iran to threaten the freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. The US military said that it struck more than 90 military targets along the coastline, including air defense systems, surveillance, asset, missiles, and drone sites, and naval capabilities and logistical infrastructure. Iranian media reported explosions in several cities, including Bandar Abbas, Bushehr, Chabahar, Manarak, Iran Shahar, Sirik, Jask, Abu Musa Island, and Qashem Island, and Akala. In Iran Shahar, Iranian state media said that an airport facility was hit, killing at least one firefighter and wounding others. In Chabahar, two talks, a maritime traffic control tower, and a depot was hit. Sharqiyya also struck Imam Ali Hospital, and the city also experienced widespread power outages and after electricity lines were damaged. In eastern Akla, the Akhtak Khan railway bridge was hit, while authorities in Bushehr said attacks on the city did not cause damage to the nuclear power plant there. In retaliation, Iran's IRGC targeted US military facilities at Camp Arishfan base and Al Salim Air Base in Kuwait, as well as Jufair and Sheikh Issa bases in Bahrain. According to the state media, Bahrain and Kuwait sirens were activated in both countries. Iran's IRGC has claimed attacks on an important infrastructure and facilities at US bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, saying that they were hit in the first phase of punitive response to the latest attacks on Iran. In a statement carried out by IRIB broadcaster, that IRGC said that its naval and aerospace forces carried a joint missile and drone operations hours after US attack. The operation targeted Camp Arifjan military base, Ali Al Salim Air Base in Kuwait, as well as the Jufair and the Sheikh Issa bases in Bahrain. So let us now observe the statements on the leadership on both sides of the conflict. Trump's statement was that, to me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them. They are scum. They are sick people. They are led by sick people. As far as I am concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. He also added in another statement that they'd like to talk. My people would like to talk. I don't. I don't want to deal with them. Iranian official statements include the foreign minister's statement, that is Abbas Araghchi. He said that there will be no talks unless Trump halts the aggression. In another statement, he says that Iran will continue to defend itself for as long as it is necessary. Iran's foreign ministry condemned the US airstrikes, saying that attacks are wholly unprovoked, illegal, and illegitimate. Iran's Supreme National Security Council warned after the renewed US strikes this occurs once again during negotiations, and the enemy imagines that resilient Iranian nation will surrender to the petty demands through these cowardly actions. Following Trump's declaration, the MOU was over. Iranian negotiators maintained that Strait of Hormuz will only reopen under Iran's conditions, while accusing the United States of being an untrustworthy negotiating partner. The attacks have placed enormous pressure on the fragile Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding that was signed in June 2026. The memorandum was intended border hostilities between the two countries and ensure the freedom of navigation in Strait of Hormuz. But however, weeks after memorandum was signed, both countries are now accusing each other of violating the terms of agreement that were signed in that memorandum. This pattern has now become increasingly familiar. There's an attack at the sea, there's a military response, then there comes a diplomatic accusation, and then there's a renewed uncertainty in the region. The biggest concern is not just the military strikes, it is the risk of the wider regional conflict. Continued attacks on the shipping lanes could disrupt, as I have mentioned, the global trade, increase in the oil prices and raised in the fuel prices and transportation costs throughout the world. Although the tensions remain high, but there's still chances and optimism in the country, in the whole world, that countries like Pakistan are still pushing for dialogue, and the success of these diplomatic efforts will be crucial for preventing this further escalation in the conflict. So in the end, let us analyze the situation. Trump's remarks suggest that he has moved his approach from diplomacy to the strategy based on coercion and military pressure rather than negotiated engagement. His statement that my people would like to talk, but I don't, reflects a highly personalized statement and a highly personalized approach in the foreign policy, where presidential preferences appear to outweigh the institutional diplomatic efforts. By declaring that the MAU was over and portraying Iran as an unreliable partner, he signals the loss of confidence in diplomatic agreements and raises the questions about the future and credibility of the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding. At the same time, the acknowledgement that his team remains open to talk indicates the chances of back-channel diplomacy despite the public confrontational public rhetoric. Also, the US Congress is now urging Trump to end the war. US Congressman Dalia Ramirez has slammed Trump administration. She tweeted last night that Trump administration launched a series of strikes on Iran after shortly establishing a ceasefire deal, and today he is threatening to launch more. She also added that we cannot rely on warmongers to bring an end to this war. Congress must reclaim our authority and hold the administration accountable, she added. Senator Dalia's post came after Senator Elizabeth Warren's tweet, where she called Congress to halt Trump's war. The House and the Senate passed a bipartisan war powers resolution last month directing the president to halt military action against Iran unless Congress authorizes it. So what was deliberated today in this video? It is safe to say that the coming days will not only decide the future of Strait of Hormuz, but also the future of security in the Middle East and security all around the world. If the diplomacy fails, it will not just be a failure of the two countries, that is US and Iran, it will be failure of the whole wide world, and whole world will face the consequences of this failure. So that was it for today's video. I'll see you again in another video. Until then, like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you for watching.